Hey everyone, we got some awful news for Fisker stock investors. Unfortunately, the company was already having a bad year in 2023, and you can see the stock price take an even further accelerated downward dip after October. The stock price falling from a little over $6 per share down to about $2 per share as of this recording. So I'm going to go through the company's latest conference call and some latest news developments to highlight what's going on with Fisker, why the stock price is falling, and what this means for Fisker stock investors. So let's get right into it.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So, the first thing management said in the quarterly earnings call is that they have not been able to follow through with deliveries fast enough. People have paid and they're waiting for their cars, and some of them are really getting annoyed, and that's something we really need to do something about. Now, as if their problems weren't difficult already, meeting falling or decelerating electric vehicle demand. On top of that, Fisker is having execution problems in just getting the vehicles that consumers have purchased and they have already made and delivering them. Just that simple process Fisker is having difficulty with, and it highlights just how difficult this business model is. So now Fisker saying that they really have to think about how do we get more real estate, how do we get more people, and they're hiring about 20 to 30 people per week, and they're opening new facilities this month. Now, while that may or may not work as a solution to this problem, what is certain to happen is its costs are going to go up, right? Hiring 20 to 30 people per week, you got to pay these people a salary or a commission or a wage. That's going to add costs. On top of that, you've got to train these individuals. You've got to employ them somewhere, the office facilities, computers, etc., etc. That's going to increase costs for a company that's already losing money on the bottom line, and it's going to make it even harder for Fisker to achieve profitability down the road when it increases production, when it increases deliveries. Now it needs to reach a higher point in order to meet that profitability target than previously expected. These are new developments that investors were not expecting to begin with during the quarter. So these are new developments that are coming out that are, excuse me, making it less attractive for Fisker investors. So management saying that you'll see in November and December a really rapid growth in deliveries. That's a bit of good news that they're going to get things, they expect to get things settled in November and December because they've got the customer purchases. They just need to deliver these vehicles. They've already produced a number of vehicles. In fact, you might see later on in this video, I'll talk a little bit about the difference from the number of vehicles they produced and the number of vehicles they delivered in the quarter. There was a big gap between those two. So, as you might already know, Fisker does not qualify for the tax discount for their customers in the United States, but they still have very competitive pricing in the US. In Europe, they're even more competitively priced, even lower than pretty much all the Chinese segment competitors. And of course, their European competitors, their own factory is in Europe with lower logistic costs, right? If you're not delivering as long of distance, it's going to cost you less for those deliveries. And so you can offer lower prices to customers because it's going to cost you less to ship the cars to the customers. Management mentioned that they delivered 1,097 vehicles in the third quarter, and that exceeded the pace in just the month of October, and November is tracking even higher. So in all of the third quarter, they delivered 1,097 vehicles. In October, they delivered more than that. So in just the 1 month of October, they did more deliveries than in all of the third quarter. That's good news. And then in November, it looks like it's even shaping to be better than October. So they are showing progress. They are showing improvement, although it's not at the pace that investors were expecting, that Fisker forecasted just a little while ago, right? Just 8 weeks ago, just 12 weeks ago. in the start of 2023. They were giving ambitious targets of thousands and thousands of vehicle deliveries in the second half of the year, and it doesn't look like it's going to reach even double-digit thousands for 2023, right? Even if they ramp it up to 3 or 4,000 deliveries in November, and then, well, maybe they could if they can get it up to 3,000 deliveries in November, and then maybe 4 or 5,000 deliveries in December, they can get it up to over 10,000 for 2023. Although that would be stretching it and that would be rushing it, in my opinion, and that would come at the cost of higher expense to make those deliveries to customers, because it looks like they don't have the infrastructure in place to get the cars from production to customers' hands. It doesn't look like they have the logistics, the capabilities to make that match in a effective way. Of course, they can pay high prices to get those cars delivered, but that would not make sense, right? Why would you take the expense and ship them in an expensive way that takes away your entire margin, which is already thin or negative to begin with? So that's the challenge right now for Fisker that they're trying to solve by increasing staff. In fact, their total number of marketing, sales, and service employees has increased by more than 4x since the end of 2022, by more than 4x since the end of 2022. Company lost money 2022. Of course, they weren't producing anything just yet. 2023, they're probably going to lose money on the bottom line. Probably even 2024, they're going to lose money on the bottom line, especially now that it's shown that they need to hire more people just to meet these deliveries. So in another piece of bad news for Fisker Automotive, Floris Bouting, who was named Chief Accounting Officer in early November, has left the automaker, the company said in a regulatory filing on Monday. So his exit follows the departure of his predecessor, who left in late October after roughly 3 years with the company. So after being appointed just a short while ago, this chief accounting officer is resigning, and that it comes on the heels of the company delaying its quarterly report. And this is never a good sign. When you've seen things like this, there's likely something going on under the hood here. The chief accounting officer did not want to get involved, perhaps. I don't want to speculate too much, but typically when these kinds of resignations happen so quickly, one after another, there's something going on there that they don't want to get involved with. So this it's not anything good. It's just a matter of how bad this news is going to be. It raises the question about all of the numbers and the figures the company has reported in 2023, because now it may have to go back and restate those financial statements and restate those numbers, fix them, and address any incorrect numbers that may have been reported or anything of that nature. So it's not going to be good. Investors just have to hope that it's not so bad. And you can see the stock price down 13% today alone, following this news and all of the other bad news that's come out of Fisker in the last few days. And it's just not been a good month for Fisker. It's not been a good year for Fisker. It's not been a good few months for electric vehicle companies, as the falling consumer demand for EVs is really hitting the industry hard and hurting all of these EV companies that came into the industry with these rosy forecasts, expecting massive consumer demand and these cars to just sell themselves and profits to jump in. And that's not really the case. So unfortunately, this bad news for Fisker stock investors. Now, I will highlight again, as I've done with my previous videos, I don't think this is a buying opportunity. I don't think this is a time for investors to jump in and capitalize, because you still don't know the depth of the problems here. You still don't know how bad it can be. And I don't think anything good is going to come out of these situations here. I think it's just going to be a matter of how bad the disaster will be. So as an investor, I would caution going in here. I would wait, get more information, let the company come out, settle out how it's going to make its deliveries, give information about the accounting situation going on, and then we can start to think about at what price do we want to get into Fisker stock. At right now, I would advise against considering Fisker stock on the dip. But before I let you go, if you gained any value from this video, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me make more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching.